Welcome to the Strive Life Summit. Today's topic is balance to harmony, redefining work-life integration. I'm your presenter and host today, Danyelle Gibson-Grant, and I am so excited to discuss this important and critical topic with you today. So let me introduce a little bit about myself. I'm Danyelle, and I have a career that spanned nearly 30 years in human resources. I spent 17 years at a privately held community bank in Northern California, where I was the head of the talent acquisition function. It was a great ride. I enjoyed my time there. And yet, after 17 years, I knew and felt that there was a calling on my life, a purpose that I needed to really lean into outside of just working for a community bank and being the head of talent acquisition. And so I'm going to share a little bit of my story with you today in hopes that it will encourage someone here. In addition, I am a master certified professional coach. I'm a certified Fascinate advisor. As you can tell, I like certifications, always have designations. Those are my jams. I love it. I'm also an author. I've written a couple of ebooks that are available on Amazon, and I am a certified speaker. I love speaking to beautiful audiences and encouraging people to truly lean into their God-given purpose, what they're here on this earth to do. I am a married wife, married to the love of my life for over 16 years. We met in 2000, so we've known each other for 24, almost 25 years, and I'm thankful for every day. I am a doggy mom, no human children, but I do love and adore the furry kind, and it's been a wonderful journey being a doggy mom to them. I'm passionate about life, love, and most importantly, champagne. I'm not going to even lie. Champagne is where my heart is. And so I hope to share a little bit more about who I am and what lights me up with you as we go through the presentation today. So let's get into it. Here's the question. Is there a myth to work-life balance? Here's what I will say. The data tells us that there's 75% of workers who have reported experiencing burnout at some point in their career, with many citing struggles to maintain a work-life balance as a significant factor to that burnout. This is especially concerning as burnout continues to intensify in this post-pandemic workplace. And that's so true when you think about people who work remotely or from home. The lines and the boundaries between personal and professional lives often get so blurry you can't make a distinction. And that simply exacerbates the issue. There is an urgency right now for both individuals and organizations to adopt sustainable practices that promote well-being and mental health. In my mind, understanding burnout is a silent advisory. Burnout isn't just fatigue. It's an all-encompassing state of physical and emotional depletion, often the result of relentless stress and overexertion. How many of you can raise your hand right now and talk about relentless stress and overexertion that you face in your job in the workplace? However, regardless of anyone's profession or personal background, trust and believe no one is immune from this. However, early detection is paramount. Here's why. Because it equips us to counteract and curb the deepening effects of burnout on our lives. So how does one move from stress and burnout to balance and harmony? Well, guess what? I'm so glad that you asked that question, and I'm ready to dive into what it means to live a harmonious life. Are you ready? Are you with me? Let's do it. So why harmony matters? Listen, harmony is not about equal time. It's about intentional alignment. Integration is super important. Crafting a harmonious work-life blend necessitates clarity on one's priorities, and values. Reflecting on your heart's true desires, both professionally and personally, and aligning those actions can make a huge and profound difference. This is where establishing boundaries, streamlining tasks, and ensuring your goals resonate with your core values. As a result, here are some of the benefits you can expect. 1, improved mental and physical health. 2, enhanced creativity and productivity. And 3, a deeper personal and professional fulfillment. Oh my God, how does that sound? Deeper personal and professional fulfillment? Sign me up. So I believe there are 3 pillars of harmony, and this is what I call the framework for work-life integration. And it's based on clarity, alignment, and boundaries. So I'm going to break down each one of these individually, and let's talk this through. So when you think about clarity, it's important for you to define your priorities and your values. Your priorities are the tasks, goals, and commitments that deserve your time and energy. So think about the work that you do. Is that work truly in alignment with your values, what you deem important in your professional life as well as in your personal life? Because understand the two go hand in hand. I oftentimes, having been in the human resource discipline for nearly 30 years, I oftentimes would hear certain leaders say, show up at work and, leave your personal life at home, blah, 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 blah. That's not true. Because who we are is the fullness and essence of our entire being. So there's no way you can leave your personal stuff at home. Now, let's be clear here and let's be fair that there are appropriate times, seasons where you need to move forward and behave and act in a way where you're not breaking down in the middle of a work meeting, right? And there are times when the pressures and the stresses of life get on you so immensely that sometimes you feel like you're going to break down in a meeting. And this is where it's so important to have leaders and mentors and people on your team, on your side, who can help to support you through those times and lift you up and hold that space for you. So be sure that when you are clarifying your priorities and your values, remember what's most important to you, both professionally and personally. Alignment, ensuring that your work is right in line with your life's goals and purpose. Living in alignment with your values are the principles and the standards that defines who you are and what you find meaningful and worthwhile in this life. Living in accordance with those values, my gosh, that's when you show up authentically in the workplace, when you show up authentically at home with the people you work with family, friends, etc. Authenticity is the new, and I wouldn't even say new, but it's the 21st way of being. Gone are the days when you would just go into work and punch in a clock and do your work and you walk away. No, we live in a day and age where authenticity and being true to who we are is paramount. Because when you show up as your best self, oh my gosh, the world is just so available to you. And whom you walk on that journey with, and whom you are in alignment with, and whom you showcase that you can do more than what you think you can do in life and in work, that's where fulfillment comes in. That's where you're walking in your God-given purpose, because you feel it and others feel it, sense it, and see it too. That's alignment. And boundaries. This is where you set limits to protect what matters most. The stronger your personal boundaries are, the more empowered you are to protect your time and your energy from being overextended. At the beginning of the conversation today, I mentioned about having a 17-year career at a community bank here in Northern California. And for a long time, I thought, this is where I'm going to retire. This is where it's at. And the higher I moved up in corporate positions and the longer I was there, I knew probably maybe 7 to 10 years in, I think my soul is calling me to do something different, but I stayed, because who leaves a job where you can retire from and you have all the perks and the bennies and, you're quote unquote earning the money, but compromising what I felt for me were my values and integrity and my purpose is when I said no more. And in June of 2023, I walked away. I walked away to repurpose myself, to rest, to recharge, and to really get clear and obtain that clarity on what was most important to me when I thought about my career so that I could live my life in harmony. When I talk about burnout, I know all too well what that's like. Working, multi-hour days and evenings and weekends and I'm sleeping in the middle of the night and then I wake up with, oh my God, I forgot to do this today, and jotting notes on a piece of paper beside my bed in the middle of the night because I couldn't sleep because work was constantly on my mind. I understand burnout. I understand the sacrifices. I understand not being in alignment with my soul's calling and purpose and what I defined as being meaningful and worthwhile. I get it. I'm in a place now where I am walking in my purpose. I'm in a place now where I have that work-life integration. It takes boldness. It takes courage to look at a career, to look at a job that you've been at for so long and say, enough is enough, and walk away. To make the decision to do something different, to make the decision to really lean into what my soul's calling was. That takes boldness. And you don't get there overnight. To be frank, it took me years of personal development, working with great coaches, to build up that confidence within myself, to trust God enough to say, I can do this. I am capable. I have everything that I need. And whatever I don't have, guess what? It will be provided and make itself available for me. And that is what harmony looks like. That is what I'm talking about here today when I refer to the framework for work-life integration, clarity, being clear in my own mind, heart, soul, and spirit. These are my priorities. These are my values. In alignment, moving into action, right? With following through with my life's purpose and living authentically and with authenticity to fulfill what I've been called to do. And then setting the appropriate boundaries to protect my heart and soul and my mental health with what matters most. That's what it's about. So let's talk about the power of intentional alignment. Well, what does that even mean? What is intentional alignment? Here's the thing. It has nothing to do, or there's nothing more important than being in alignment with who you are and where you want to go. So when you think of intentional alignment, where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? Intentional alignment is about creating a seamless connection between your actions, priorities, and your values. It's a powerful practice that transforms how you approach work, and life by ensuring that every step you take contributes to a greater sense of purpose and fulfillment. So you may be thinking, well, why? Why is intentional alignment important, and how can it be powerful in my own life? I'm glad you asked. Let me give you 6 quick tips here in terms of moving into the power of intentional alignment. 1, understanding that intentional alignment creates clarity and directions. So when your actions align with your purpose, it eliminates confusion and the whole second guessing. Have you been there? I've been there. I've been there 1,001 times, second guessing. Should I stay? Should I go? Should I stay? Should I go? What should I do? What should I do? I can't. And you're just in such a state of confusion. Moving into clarity, you operate with a sense of calm about why you do what you do, and making decisions more confidently and faster instead of going around in circles and the second guessing. Tip number 2, understanding that intentional alignment reduces internal conflict. So misalignment often leads to creating more stress and burnout. And I understand that all too well. Because sometimes you feel torn between the competing demands, the things that you're being told to do at work, versus moving in a way that alleviates that conflict. Alignment helps you to focus on harmony over perfection. Done is better than perfect. And oftentimes in corporate settings, we don't hear that message enough. The best leaders understand that to move to a level of success, you're gonna make mistakes. Perfection, that is really unachievable, right? And so when you have a leader who understands that moving in a way that supports you, that helps you to focus on completing a task and doing it to your greatest effort, and also understanding and you realizing when you need additional support to get you over the hump, that helps to reduce feelings of guilt or inadequacy, right? So if you have a great leader who understands that, kudos, embrace them. If you don't, look for a mentor or leader who can support you in that way. Alignment, intentional alignment, fosters authenticity. That means living in a way that you show up as your true self in every space. You take the mask off. I know all too well, and I feel like I continue to say, I understand, I know, because I do. Hear me, people. I've lived this. I get it. Where you show up at work and you put on a mask every morning. You're not showing up as your true self in every space. But when you're in alignment and being intentional about this, authenticity builds trust in relationships, both personal and professional. As I've gone on this journey, I left my corporate position. I took some time for rest and started focusing on my coaching practice and getting my certifications and being in community with other coaches and other solopreneurs and entrepreneurs and experts. Oh my gosh, I now show up as my true authentic self. And the relationships and the connections and the opportunities that are presented, including me being here today and sharing with you, is phenomenal. Please give yourself the opportunity to live authentically in your professional work that you do, to live authentically in your personal life, in your relationships with your friends, your loved ones, your partner. Show up authentically. Further, intentional alignment drives fulfillment and productivity. Even though I was just talking about productivity, but not from the worker bee, your machine perspective, but when your work feels meaningful and aligned to your greater purpose, oh my God, motivation and engagement naturally flow, naturally follow. You work smarter, you don't work harder, because you're pursuing dreams, goals, and visions that matter to you, that matter to the world, that matter to your circle of influence. There's no greater feeling in the world than doing work that lights you up and lights up the people and the places that you're meant to support and give to. And then the sixth tip is understanding that intentional alignment provides sustainable long-term well-being. So we're talking about balance in your life. We're talking about the harmony in your life. Today's topic, right? We're talking about ensuring that you're not sacrificing one area of your life for another, that you can work and do meaningful work and still spend time with your loved ones, your family, your kids, your dogs, your cats, or any other four-legged creature, right? It allows you to thrive without compromising your health, your relationships, or your passions. When I was in my corporate position towards the end, my mental and physical health was truly suffering. And I knew it. I saw it. I felt it. I understood it. And so I reached out for support. Therapy is a blessing when you get the right therapist and support. And then throughout that whole journey, I had always worked with a personal coach to elevate all that I do, to be able to live and work from a place of, as I said, authenticity and sustainability and all of that. And it took time to work with my coaches to get there. And not that I've reached perfection here today, but I'm so much further along the path than where I was before. And that means everything to me. So remember, intentional alignment there's nothing more important than being with who you are and where you want to go and what you were created to do. Let's talk about strategies for thriving in a changing environment, because today's topic is about our professional life and our personal life, right? And how do we blend the two where there's a sense of balance and harmony? One, prioritize flexibility and adaptability in your career. What do I mean by that? We live in such a great time in history in terms of the world of work. With my background and expertise, I've seen a lot, a lot in nearly 30 years. And how I started my career was very different than how it is now, or how it was even prior to me leaving my corporate position. And obviously, COVID had a huge impact on that, because now many companies have the opportunity to have their employees work either a hybrid role where you're in the office part-time, you work from home part-time. Some companies are still adapting and encouraging 100% remote work opportunities, and I congratulate and give kudos to those organizations every day, because the day and age in which we live in is no longer what it was in the industrial age. We live in a digital age, and how we look at work is so much different than 30 years ago. And so for my mature leaders and workers out there, be encouraged. Look for opportunities where you can be adaptable and flexible in terms of your career, in terms of your job. For those of you who are in, middle career positions, midlife career positions, or just moving into a management role or supervisory role, understand that you also have those opportunities for flexibility and adaptability in your career. Because here's the thing, the dynamic of the world is changing, and it's more important than ever to create a lifestyle of balance and harmony. There are simple tips and things that will absolutely help you out. So when thinking about and focusing on, for example, number 2, focusing on lifelong learning and upskilling your skill set. This is a beautiful opportunity because the world of work has changed and is continuing to change. So this is a great opportunity where this can work to your advantage, particularly, as I mentioned, for the seasoned professionals, where the changing world of work and the work landscape is different now. It may not be easy for us to adjust or adapt to. However, the trends that I'm seeing now will help us to better support a healthy work-life integration, a healthy work-life balance, because you'll have opportunities to learn and relearn. I remember I attended a seminar, oh my gosh, maybe 5-6 years ago. And one of the key premises of the seminar, the conference, was they were talking about AI and they were talking about robotics and these sorts of things. And this was, again, maybe 5, 6, maybe even 7 years ago, somewhere thereabout. Definitely before ChatGPT became like everybody's, second best friend. But I digress. But one of the key takeaways I remembered, even to this day, was the importance of learning, relearning, applying, learning, relearning, applying, adapting, and you just continue that cycle. So when I think about, more seasoned professionals such as myself and others, it's critically important that you're constantly relearning. That's the upskilling you need to do. How technology worked even 2 years ago is not how technology works today. So I'm going to encourage each and every one of you to continue to upskill. But number 3, use technology to support, but not dominate your personal or your professional life. I can't tell you how many leaders I've worked with who would go on vacation and take their laptop, their company cell phone, all sorts of technology with them, quote unquote, on vacation. They'd be in Europe, up at 2 and 3 in the morning, sending messages to those of us here back in the States. It's ridiculous. This goes back to setting appropriate boundaries, right? When you are in a relaxed state, a down state, you're not heavily focused on work. Take that time to focus on your relationships, to focus on your time with friends, families, your children, those people that are important to you. Focus on that and not on, oh my God, what's going on at the office? I remember the days when I would wake up in the middle of the night and be jotting notes because I remembered or forgot something I was supposed to do in the workday. That needs to stop. It needs to stop. And we need to get back to being human and being connected to other people and sharing our stresses and getting the support that we need so that we're in a state of appropriate mental health, right? That's what it's about. And so I want to encourage you, strategies for thriving in change. Again, prioritize flexibility and adaptability in your career. Focus on lifelong learning and upskilling. Remember, the world of work is changing. Let's use it to our advantage. Leverage it in a way that supports you, your purpose, your goals, and your visions. And then 3, technology. Use it to support you, but not to dominate you. Not to dominate your personal life, your relaxation time, or even, dare I say, when you're in the office. Don't let technology overtake you. Obviously, we need to use it and leverage it for responsibilities and tasks and project completion while at work. I get that. But again, don't let it dominate your life. So let's pause for a moment. Let's take an opportunity to reflect and realign. So I'm going to walk you through an activity, and this is really important. So if you have an opportunity to pause this training, I definitely would encourage you to do that. And if it's speaking to your heart and soul, to just sit with some of the questions that I'm going to ask you to consider and reflect on, do that. Journal through it. Go back to what you're reading and seeing here, and really anchor in to how you can apply what I'm about to share to your life. So first things first, take 2 minutes to write down your top 3 life priorities. And I would have you to consider, these priorities, how are they reflected in how you spend your time right now? 1, are you even clear on what your top 3 priorities are? Not top 5, not top 10, 3. Take a few minutes to write down your top 3 priorities, and then reflect on the time that you spend. How much of that time supports those 3 priorities? If doing this exercise, you say to yourself, well, Danyelle, the things that I do don't support my top 3 priorities. I'm going to encourage you as we move into 2025 to really think about that. Not only think about it, but make a decision to do something about it. So I have a few prompt questions for you. 1, what's one activity or commitment in your life right now that feels out of alignment with your values? Sit with that. I'll share my story. In May of 2023, I was on vacation with my family, and I was thinking about the activities in my life, the commitments, my job, my career, and how it felt so misaligned with my values. Totally misaligned. I was in San Diego. I was walking the pier, and my soul was just aching and knew I needed to make a change in my life. I did not want to spend another 20, 25 years doing the same work that I was doing at that time. I knew my soul's calling and purpose was to move into a different direction. So I made the decision that that's exactly what I would do. In the next month, I walked into the office and gave my 2 weeks notice and walked away. And I haven't looked back since. So think about an activity or commitment in your life right now that feels out of alignment with your values. What are you going to do about it? Next, if you could set one boundary this week that would improve your sense of balance, what would it be? I know for me, when I think about one thing I can do to provide balance in my life, it's totally me having a coach that I can bounce ideas off of, vent to, brainstorm, but know that, and I have a couple of coaches, he or she, they're going to keep me accountable. They're not going to allow me to wallow in self-pity and be stuck. They're going to say, Danyelle, so what are you going to do about it? Third question, when was the last time you truly felt in harmony between your work and your personal life? And what made that possible? Sit with these questions. Do some journaling around it. For those of you who may be spiritual, meditate on these questions, or even consider, prayer. Pray through what I've just provided to you in this moment and see what needs to pivot and change in your life. So, as I begin to wrap up, let's talk about key takeaways. 1, harmony is about alignment, not perfection. Balance isn't about equal distribution of time. It's about creating alignment between what matters to you in your work and professional life and walking in that path. Embrace the future of work as an opportunity for integration. That's what we're talking about today. How can we integrate our professional life and our work life to create a harmonious living? The future of work means embracing adaptability and leveraging hybrid models and prioritizing well-being, mental health over hustle culture. And now, almost than any other time in history, we have the tools, the technology, and the resources to support that. Set boundaries, or set and protect boundaries. So boundaries aren't limitations. They're really tools for you to be able to sustain, let me say that again, sustain your energy, focus, and fulfillment. So protect your boundaries at all costs. Make sure they're important to you and protect them. And then lastly, use the 3 pillars of harmony we talked about earlier: clarity, boundaries, and alignment to thrive personally and professionally. Now is your time. One of my favorite quotes is by Henry David Thoreau. Go boldly in the direction of your dreams and live the life you have imagined. Oh, I love that. That's my mantra for sure. I want to thank you for your time and virtual participation today. I pray that our time together has been a value add and that you'll walk away with a few keen insights to take with you as you walk through this balance to harmony journey. Know that you absolutely can redefine your work life. You absolutely can create a harmonious life for yourself. Therefore, if today's session has resonated with you, I'm going to warmly invite you to consider going even deeper. This is just the top of the surface. I want to encourage you to go deeper. And you have an excellent opportunity to change your work life in this moment. And guess what? I'm going to be there to support you along the way. So for attendees of this presentation, you have the opportunity to learn more and go deeper in your balance to harmony journey. If you're ready to move into action and live the life you've always imagined, click the link below this presentation to learn more and for some special goodies for you. I can't wait to chat with you. Thank you, and remember, clarity is your compass. Cheers, and until the next time, I'm Danyelle.